When the woman was found the day after catching a strange illness, she had already become a skeletal corpse. To prevent panic, they didn't announce her death in the village. The shaman advised waiting 7 days before burying her and suggested a water burial in a specific pond. In Indonesia, burial is the usual practice. Tali wanted to ensure her mother was buried, but the bizarre nature of her death was too unsettling. She had to follow the shaman's plan and kept her mother's body at home before burial. On the first night, something terrifying happened. While keeping vigil, Tali suddenly heard her mother's voice, urging them to leave quickly. The nanny, hearing the noise, came over and thought Tali was too tired, suggesting she return to her room to rest. Just as Tali went back to her room, she heard her daughter scream. The daughter fearfully told Tali that grandma was just lying on their bed, but when Tali looked, there was no one there except her brother. Tali had to comfort her daughter, saying it was just a nightmare. Time quickly moved to the next day, and Kada was worried about her overdue loan. Suddenly, she heard chanting coming from the living room, but besides her deceased mother, there was no one else there. Who was chanting? Kada gathered her courage and went to the living room, where she found a group of strangely dressed people sitting around her mother's body. When they saw Kada arrive, they all turned to look at her, their eyes incredibly cold. Kada felt a chill down his spine. He had no idea when this group of people had entered. As the light was turned on, these people vanished into thin air. Kada stood there, stunned and bewildered. The strange occurrences at the temple were not over yet, and soon it was the third day. On this day, Kada, in a drunken stupor, was pulled into an alley by a woman. It was a dead-end alley, but to his surprise, the woman magically opened a door there. The next day, when Kada woke up, he found himself stark naked, lying in a graveyard, even though he had drunk too much the night before. But he remembered going into a room with a girl, so how did he end up here? Kadar, scared, quickly dressed and fled. At home, he didn't tell his sister Tali and lied about drinking at a friend's place. Tali scolded him for being useless. The issue was brushed aside, but the strange events weren't over. That night, as the family prepared for bed, Tali noticed her daughter wasn't beside her. She went to the living room and found her daughter staring blankly. Sitting with a group of masked people around the mother's body, Tali loudly questioned what they wanted. To her surprise, these people want her not to break a promise. What promise? Tali was completely confused as this group kept repeating the same words to her, but in the blink of an eye, they all disappeared again. Tali found a mask beside her daughter and suspected it was the mask causing trouble, so she set it on fire. Time quickly moved to the 6th day. Strange events at home nearly broke Tali. Concerned for the kids' safety, she chose to bury her mother sooner. When they got back, evening had come, and heavy rain had fallen. Entering the house, they found the mother, buried earlier, back in the living room. The four planned to stay at the nanny's for a night, but as they stepped out, their mother's figure appeared under the streetlight. Reluctantly, the four had to turn back. It was just one night, but Kada didn't get to sleep, and they safely made it through the night. Soon it was the 7th day, and they followed the shaman's instructions to give their mother a water burial in a cave. Everything went smoothly, and nothing unexpected happened along the way. They thought all the strange occurrences would end there, but when Tali was packing his luggage, the mask he had already burned reappeared in his suitcase. Although he knew it was an ominous object, Tali was curious because of what he had witnessed that night. So, Tali put the mask on his head. The moment he wore the mask, Tali seemed to see his mother from that time. He was dancing, but behind him stood a woman wearing a mask. Before long, the mother drove Tali and his brother out. Because of this, Tali always resented his mother, but he didn't know that she was actually trying to protect them. When the mother entered the cave, she was cursed by a woman wearing a mask, and several needles were inserted into her forehead. After the shaman helped remove the needles, the mother quickly turned into a mummy. If the curse wasn't lifted, Tali would be next. To break the curse, Tali and Kadar took the needles removed from their mother's body to the place where she was buried. After Tali put all the needles into the water, he thought the curse would be lifted. The curse was broken, but then Kadar was suddenly pulled into the darkness by a mysterious force and vanished without a trace. The masked woman appeared, aiming to curse Tali again. Luckily, Tali acted fast and smashed the mask. As it shattered, the woman painfully sank into the water. The next day, Tali followed his mother's last wishes and moved his family away, ending the story.